I talk about like regret and stuff a lot on the channel, but it's only because I know I put my toner on weird, but my fingers are so small that it slips through my fingers. But I only talk about regret so much because I have so much, and when you're an addict, that's like completely normal. Like, I know that everybody has some regrets and stuff, but imagine having like entire years full of your life that you just completely regret. Because I'm in aside from the like missing time with my daughter and with my family and just things like that. Like, my addiction has just caused so many different problems. Like, even afterwards, because even after I got like on methadone and stuff, I was going to our methadone clinic here, and our methadone clinic here is not a very good place. They don't actually like the people that are trying to get clean. Like, my ex and my friend that I used to ride with, they talked about how they failed every single drug test they've ever had, and they've never had to go to classes or like basically never really get in trouble for it. And I was clean most of the time, and then I think I failed like two drug tests the entire time I was going there. And when I did, it was only for marijuana. And every time I did, they hit me with these classes, and I couldn't dose up until I see my counselor, and I did all this stuff, and it was constantly like they were picking on me and other people that actually like wanted to be clean. And eventually, I ended up getting kicked out and made to come off of it cold turkey, and my family was getting ready to go on vacation, and which is what the fight started over, because they were looking for excuses not to give me my take home so I could go on vacation with my family. And so we got into it. They called the cops on me, kicked me out, and I had to go cold turkey. And I ended up being too sick to go on vacation with my family. So, I mean, aside from just like missing time and stuff with my family, and not, and there always being tension because I'm using, and they're mad because I'm using, and when you're using, you always think that everybody's against you and everybody else is a problem and you're not. So it would cause a lot of tension and stuff. But I mean, aside from like family and stuff, I just wasted so much like time and opportunity. Like, I should have been filming. Like, I know my life is really boring now and I don't get to do a lot now. But if I would have been filming when I was younger, I would have so much content. I feel like I would actually be an influencer by now, because I used to just up and do like crazy stuff. Like, when I first got strung out, I met this guy that I fell in love with, and I moved in with him, and then we started getting into trouble. And I mean, me and him are wild now. Like, we went to the bar one night, and I actually got a bartending before I was even 21. Like, the bartender never even checked my age. He was just like, "You're hot. Do you want a job?" And so I started bartending at like 20. And then somebody ratted me out. But then we got in trouble with like the actual law, like with my family. They think I stole something, and it was just a big mess. So we took off to Florida in the middle of the night. We just like jumped on a Greyhound bus. My friend took us. Sorry, it's hard for me to breathe when I talk a lot. But my friend took us to the bus station, and we just jumped on the Greyhound bus and went down to Florida. And then I went to rehab for the first time. I went to rehab in Sarasota, Florida. And then it was supposed to be a 9-month program, but after like 4 or 5 months, I wasn't like not ready to quit using, because I just went down there for him and because I wanted to go to Florida. So I ended up running away from rehab, which was also a big mistake, I feel like, actually, because that was a really nice place with really nice people. And I was just, by the end, I just really didn't want to be there. It's not that I didn't like the people or the program. I just wanted to be out in Florida exploring and getting high and partying and like living my best life, because I was like 20 at the time. So, so after a while, I ran away from rehab, and I memorized my way to their downtown bus station. So I went down to their downtown bus station and hung out with a whole bunch of homeless people and became friends with them up until I got hold of my cousin, because I found out I actually have family that lives down in that area, and I ended up moving in with her, and that was fun. That's when I got my first dancing job at a place called Da Vinci's, and I loved it. It was so much fun. And like it was a giant party there all the time. It wasn't like a super high class club, but it wasn't like a gross hole in the wall. But it was like very party-esque. Like they looked for every reason to party. Like, oh, it's a Wednesday night. Like, let's have a body paint party or let's have a glow stick party. Like they were just always wanting to party. And so that was a super fun job and a super fun time because I was making very good money at the job and living in Sarasota. I was going to Siesta Key and, shopping and dancing, and like I was seriously like living my best life. I didn't have kids at this time, which not saying I regret my kids. I'm just saying pre-kids. This was like living my best life. Like I was just having so much fun, like doing whatever. And I lived on Siesta Key and Lido, which was such pretty beaches. I had so many friends. I had friends in multiple different states. I had friends down there in Florida. And then I had a lot of like really rich friends too. Like I had a lot of friends that have really, really good money, like lived in those gated communities next to the beach, have these giant mansions that like I never thought I would ever see in person. It was like something that I used to watch off Cribs. And then like for me to have like friends like that and to be going into these houses and stuff, it was mind blowing to me because I never had that. And then so I made the mistake a few months after I moved down there. I was down there for like a while, but I wanted to go back and visit my family because this was the longest I'd ever been away from my family. But my ex was going up there. My ex wanted to go up where we live also because that's where his baby mama lives. So we took a train from Polk County, Florida to where I live now. And my cousin didn't like him, so she got mad and she kicked me out and kept all my stuff down there. Which even getting on the train to get here was a journey because he went to jail and I had to go bond him out, and I ended up hitching a ride with some randos. Ended up getting like robbed and pushed out of the car and lost a shit ton of money, and my InStyler, which was like a very new thing at the time, and my video camera. Oh, also I forgot the cruise because I forgot the cruise came before this because that video camera had all the videos of my cruise and my time in Key Largo. I forgot while I was down in Florida, not only was I living my best life in Sarasota, but I went down to Key Largo with a few friends, and some rich guy took me snorkeling and like to do some other stuff down there. Like we went to the smoothie bar and we went snorkeling, and we just like went to the beach and had a good time because my friends I came there with wouldn't stop fighting. So, but I mean, it was a really good time. And then my other friend took me on a cruise because he is an older man and he was trying to blow all of his money in his 401k and like everything he had basically before his ex-wife could get to it because they were getting a divorce because he took off to Florida on her, like just left while she was at work because she's psycho. So she was going to take all of it and he was like, you can't take it if I don't have it. So he wanted to spend it, and we went on a cruise and just blew money. Like I got my nails done, I got my hair done, got a massage, like had so much alcohol, like that in itself, that was just so much fun. Like we went to the Bahamas, and that was just a blast. That was a dream come true. I never thought I'd be able to do that. And sadly that friend just passed away not that long ago, and it really breaks my heart. But my cousin kicked me out when I was on the train and just said, you're not allowed to come back, and kept a bunch of my money down there, kept all my stuff down there, didn't use my money to mail my stuff back, and just threw all my stuff away basically, and kept my money that was not hers. And I was livid. And so I got stuck back where I live again. But a few months later, the guy that took me on the cruise offered me to move down in a different area of Florida with him and his roommate. And so I did that. And even though I wasn't by the beach, we still made regular beach trips. And I had a gym membership, and I was doing pretty good going to the lake and tanning, and even though I wasn't right next to the beach, it was still a really good time. Like, I had a good time living down there. And I took the train down there, going down there by myself. I had some layovers on the train. I remember when we were coming up from Florida, we actually had a layover in DC, and like it was like a 3.5 hour layover. So we got out and explored, and we went to the top of this building that I don't know if we were supposed to be on. I think it was the top of the train station actually, because we found all these staircases and we went up to the roof, and it was so cool. But then I took the train back down to Florida and had some layovers and explored there. And then I lived down in Florida, and then I ended up having to move back up here again. And then I moved to Tennessee not long after that to be with my best friend and to go to Bonnaroo. But right before Bonnaroo happened, I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter, which I love her, and I'm so happy I did, but I really, really wish it would have just been a few weeks later so I could have went to Bonnaroo. But so then we took off from Tennessee not long after my daughter was born, because CPS was after me hard, because when she was born I had a little bit of weed in my system. There wasn't even any in hers. There was just some in mine. And CPS came after me very, very hard. Like sent the cops at our house and like all kinds of crazy stuff. It was ridiculous. And so we took off back up here again, and then again took off to Pensacola. And that would have been good if my baby daddy wouldn't have been addicted to spice and crack, because I had gotten a really nice job at a really classy club, and we got a house for a discount. And I mean, like, it would have gone okay, but that all completely went to hell. And most of my stuff ended up getting left down there in a storage unit. Well, I had to pack up my daughter like directly after Christmas. We got our eviction notice like right around Christmas, even though I was giving him the money to pay the rent, because he was supposed to pay it because he was friends with the landlord. So he lied and said he was paying the electric and the rent and never was. So I had to leave all my stuff in a storage unit and take what I could carry and my daughter and come back on a train to my family. And sadly, I haven't got to live in Florida since, but I did make a trip to Miami a few years ago, and this is another thing that drugs ruined, because back when had more weight on me and I was still like looking pretty decent, I went to Club 11. I wanted to audition at Club 11 in Miami, and I actually had an audition. They seemed like they were interested in me, but I messed up and I got high before I went in. So when I went in, I couldn't even hardly hold my head up. And even though I was up, so I don't even know what I did while I was up on that stage. I probably made an ass out of myself, but I did audition on the Club 11 stage, and probably, I feel like there's a good chance I could have got it if I wasn't high, but they straight knew I was high, so I ruined that. And then I would have tried out a different club, but my ID came up missing. My hotel was going to run out, so I had to go stay with some random guy that a hooker set me up with, who actually ended up being a very nice guy. But yeah, my Miami trip was crazy. I ended up running around with a bunch of drug dealers and people I didn't know, and I also took a train down there, and then I ended up having to take a bus back, I think. But so my life has been filled with, even though I haven't got to travel like very far, and I didn't get to travel for a big chunk of my life, while I traveled a lot. I had a lot of good friends. I had a lot of good opportunities. I lived in some good areas. I could have been filming. I could have I feel like I could have done so much more. At one time, I wanted to go be a Playboy bunny. I feel like I could have just done so much more than what I did. Like, even through all the chaos, I just feel like, because I was very outgoing, I would talk to everybody, like, I had a very easy time getting along with people, and I looked good, and I knew a lot of people, and I had an exciting life, and I should have been filming and trying to find the opportunities where I could, but I was so focused on just party, 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 party. I wasn't thinking about the future or money or like, oh, this is gonna, I might want to do this so I can maybe have this job in the future or anything like that. Like, I was not thinking. I was literally only thinking of traveling, partying, and I think that's it, really. And then after my daughter was born, it was like I wanted to be a great mom to my daughter, but I really wanted to get out of here. But and I tried to stay clean for a long time, and then I ended up relapsing for a couple years because I met another guy that I fell in love with, and that became an abusive relationship. And then now here I am. It's like every time that I've had to restart, it's just like gotten worse and worse and worse. Like the first time I messed everything up and had to restart, I was able to pick back up pretty quickly. And, like nothing ever happened. And then the second time it was a little bit harder, but still easy. And then now I feel like I've just like destroyed my life so many times. It's like when you break something and it kind of breaks, but you're able to like put the pieces back together. And then you break it again. And then, maybe you're still able to put the pieces back together, but it's harder. And then you break it again. And I'm at the point where I've just like shattered it. And I'm not good at puzzles, so I don't know how to put this one back together. So that's why I have so much regret, because not only have I hurt a lot of people and, and done a lot of things that I'm not proud of, I also should have been taking so much more advantage of my time and thinking about money in the future and real hustling, not just hustling for like at that moment to get what I wanted right then. I should have been hustling for the future, I guess is what I should say. Like I was hustling, but I was hustling for what I wanted right now. I should have been thinking and hustling for the future and not just right then and not just spend it all on partying. So I know I kind of rambled a little bit and I'm sorry, but I'm a mess right now. Look, my nails, this one's being held on by dried blood because I was doing dishes and it like fell on me and like ripped off. So I'm just really having issues with regret and thinking about all the opportunities that I could have that I messed up and overlooked and passed up and now don't have anymore. And it just really sucks just because I feel like I could be so much farther in life than I am right now. And now it's too late for a lot of that stuff. I missed my opportunity for so many of those things. And it just really sucks. But that's all.